1933. So 14 years before that, Woodson wrote a book called The Education of the Negro, prior to 1860. In this book, The Education of the Negro, he brings up Kosciuszko. And just let me see, can I find it right quick? Because it's fascinating, because he's famous, Kosciuszko, for what you said, for that will. This is what he says. Let me see, page 48. He says, with respect to conceding the Negro's claim to better education, Thaddeus Kosciuszko, the Polish general, was not unlike Benezet. And he's talking about Anthony Benezet. And Anthony Benezet was a kind of a Quaker. He wanted to educate Black people after the revolution. He said, you got to free Black people. And if you're not going to free them, the ones who are free, you got to give them an education. Very important. And so he says, Woodson says, none of the revolutionary leaders were more moved with compassion for the colored people than this warrior. He saw in education the powerful leverage which would place them in position to enjoy the newly won rights of man. While assisting us in gaining our independence, Woodson being charitable, us meaning U.S., Kosciuszko acquired here valuable property which he endeavored to devote to the enlightenment of the slaves. And there's the will. Now, Woodson prints the will. So let's read the will. It's very short. You probably already read it. So
I haven't.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, because folks who hadn't read it, it's very short. So let's look. This is what Kosciuszko says. Remember, Jefferson's his friend. He fought in the revolution. He got paid in the form of cash and property. Then he goes back home to fight against the Russians. So he stays there. But this is what he says. I, Thaddeus Kosciuszko, being just on my departure from America, do hereby declare and direct that should I make no other testamentary disposition of my property in the United States, so in other words, if I don't change this will before, I hereby authorize my friend, Thomas Jefferson, to employ the whole thereof, all of his savings, which ended up in about $20,000 then, which is a whole lot of money. Right?
A whole lot of money.
A whole lot of money, right? There, he says, to employ the whole thereof in purchasing Negroes from his own or any others, and giving them liberty in my name, in giving them an education in trade or otherwise, and in having them instructed for their new condition in the duties of morality, which may make them good neighbors, good fathers or mothers, husbands or wives, in their duty as citizens, teaching them to be defenders of their liberty and country and of the good order of society, and in whatsoever may make them happy and useful. And I make the said Thomas Jefferson my executor of this. Signed, T. Kosciuszko, May the 5th, 1798. Woodson, Carter Woodson publishes the will. I mean, this is what I love about our people, right? We always think, okay, we gotta find a white scholar. It's the stuff at the University of Michigan. Hold on, you know the Carter G. Woodson. Oh yeah, Carter G. Woodson, he's the father of Black history. Yeah, but did you look at the books he wrote? Kosciuszko is hidden in the back of The Education of the Negroes. Oh yeah, Miseducation. No, not the Miseducation. This is a book Woodson wrote 14 years before, because what he's showing is we were educating ourselves, and we had others who were trying to help us get an education long before the Civil War. Like, oh, after the Civil War, we started schools. No. Kosciuszko, the Revolutionary War hero, told his friend, hey man, I'm leaving you all my stuff. And here's the trick. He says, I want you to take this money and free as many of the Africans you have enslaved at Monticello and whoever else. Now here's where Jefferson, that hero of America, throws the curveball. And this is bad. Like I said, Gary Nash and Graham Hodges wrote a book called Friends of Liberty. Nash, N-A-S-H, and Hodges, H-O-D-G-E-S. And it's called Friends of Liberty. Thomas Jefferson, Thaddeus Kosciuszko, and Agrippa Hull. He puts them in conversation with each other. And he talks about how Jefferson writes all these flowery words, has all this angst, but he's still racist in terms of he doesn't believe Black people are mentally equipped or equal, this kind of thing. And he's going back and forth, and how, I hate to call them the Jefferson Mafia, but I will. They all try to prop Jefferson up to this day. Oh, well, he was a man of his times. We can't judge him with today's, and they try to cherry pick what he said and leave out. Nah, don't do that. This is what Jefferson did. As you know, as you said, Jefferson did not execute Kosciuszko's wishes. Kosciuszko ends up making transition in 1817. So Jefferson doesn't make transition until 1826. And ironically, Hull is the one who lived the longest. He lives to 1848, which is ironically the same year as the Mexican War, when the United States basically takes the top third of Mexico off, where Texas is still trying to, be a slaveholder republic. But here's the book I think is more fascinating to me. There are many others on just so much work on Jefferson. It's called Master of the Mountain. This is Henry Wisnick's book, Winsick, Master of the Mountain, Thomas Jefferson and His Slaves. Thomas Jefferson, when he's named executor of the will, the first thing he does is say, yeah, I don't want to do this. So he tries to get one of his friends who's an enslaver in Virginia. Will you do it? He said, no, I don't want to do it either. Jefferson simply doesn't execute the will, but it's the why that makes so much sense. Why? I'll start with just the beginning of Winsick's book. Let me see if I can go to page where he talks about Kosciuszko. Yeah, here we go. I won't go deep into the why, but here's the thing. Let's see. Descendants of Monticello, because Monticello, of course, is Jefferson's plantation. And in the governance structure, we talk about this African slaves framework, we talk. So it's fascinating when you see those formerly enslaved Africans in Monticello and their descendants. They have kept these stories alive in the governance structure, and increasingly they have communicated them to the world. So so this is what Wisnick writes. He says, descendants of Monticello slaves passed down an intriguing fragment of oral history that surfaced in the 1940s. This is amazing. It surfaced in the 1940s, right? 114 years after Jefferson passed. According to the oral history, Jefferson, quote, misused large sums of money entrusted to him for the benefit of the Negroes, end quote. So the Black people enslaved in Monticello passed this history down. That he had money to free us and he misused the money. So this is the story the Black people are telling each other, right? He says, this isolated shard of evidence seemed at first glance to be palpably false. Oh, yeah. Okay, a vindictive fabrication made by embittered people. That sounds like Cynthia Nixon and them. In other words, white people can't believe y'all just bitter because you were slaves. Wouldn't you be bitter if you were? I mean, always like, why y'all trying to put this on me? It's like her saying, well, Tanya told me. Really? Are you serious right now? Yeah, are you serious right now? Now, if everybody being honest in here, what you would find out, if Tanya told you that, it's because all Black people with sense know that's true. Don't be trying to hide. In other words, so Wisnick is like, oh, these people are embittered. What? Okay, at first glance, Black people would say, yeah, that sounds about right. So by this glance, you should say at first white glance, it might sound like you. He says, but as it happened, oh, what? As it happened, Jefferson's friend and fellow Revolutionary War hero, Thaddeus Kosciuszko, offered him nearly $20,000 in his will to free as many Monticello slaves as that sum would buy and send them anywhere Jefferson wanted with equipment to start life on their own. The offer seemed to satisfy Jefferson's needs and wishes. He could pay off some debts and fulfill his stated mission of sending freed slaves to Africa or the West Indies or anywhere else. Let's pause there for a second. Jefferson, the racist, the progressive. Let's just call him. Jefferson is like, I'm against slavery in theory. And I believe white people are better. Meaning what? I would say we should free these Black people. And then what? Well, we should send them the hell out of America because white people are better. That's the thing. The unspoken element, as you say, of that liberal racism, or that progressive. You think white people are better, but you don't want the guilt of oppressing Black people. So you're going to do what you can, but you ain't going to live next to Black people. You don't want to think Black people. You're not willing to occupy an August Wilson monologue. No. So we're equal, but we're better. Why we got to do August Wilson? Why can't we do Shakespeare? Why can't we do Tennessee Williams? I don't want to do. No, you don't want to give up your whiteness. And neither did Jefferson. Neither did his friend Benjamin Franklin, a racist, who was like, why we got to bring more Black people into this? Why can't we just have more white people? And so anyway, this is what happens. Jefferson, this is the solution, bruh. The man that left you enough money to pay yourself. You could pay yourself to free these Africans. But this is why Jefferson didn't do it. One day Jefferson, and here's where the doc, because unlike Kosciuszko, who has about 100 or so letters that survive, he wasn't good about keeping all his correspondence. Unlike our brother, Agrippa Hull, whose accounts are mostly oral history coming through, Jefferson got more documents than anybody. They still find in Jefferson letters and bills of sale and all this correspondence. Among his stuff, he's at Monticello on that mountain. I don't know, have you ever been to Monticello?
No, never been.
When you go, and I'm sure you will at some point, when you go, it just hits you in the face, the oppression. It's beautiful. It's on top of a mountain. It's beautiful in Virginia. And at the same time, you can just feel the terror as a person of African descent, realizing ain't nobody coming for you. You know, I like I said, I took my nephew now, and we used to call it crime scene investigation. We go to the plantations, Monticello, James Madison, Montpelier. We go James Monroe. Let's just go and sit in this thing. And when we went to Monticello the first time, I told Ellington, he was about 10 years old. I said, if you were 10 or 11 years old on this plantation, you would be making nails, because that's what they made Black children do, because Jefferson figured that he could use that labor. And here's where the solution to why he didn't do what the man wanted him to do comes in. Jefferson, among his documents, are the trail that made him, he realized two things. Number one, and I'll say the lesser evil first. Number one, he realized if I train these Africans in all the skills, this is skilled labor. So the Africans ran Monticello. Everything from design, architecture, everything. They made the equipment. They are skilled craftspeople. They know how to do everything on that plantation. So when you go to Monticello, like, man, that building is beautiful. Jefferson, yeah, Jefferson designed it. Wow, he did, huh? And then he built it. Wait, I'm sorry, did he build it or did these Africans? Well, the Africans built it, but they were following his design. Oh, so could they read? Well, yeah, actually, yeah, many of them did learn how to read and write. Wait a minute, they were enslaved and reading and writing. So he basically built, to go back to that middle class you're talking about, except these are enslaved. This is the paradox. These Negroes have skills. You know what I'm saying? Now, they're not like Agrippa Hall up there in Western Massachusetts, because Agrippa Hall was a farmer. He was a hard, the legend of Agrippa Hall, of Grippy Hall, is this guy was good at everything. And he told great stories. You know, he had been free, and he used that freedom working like hell to build this world. In Monticello, they are skilled as well, except they enslaved. So Jefferson realizes, hold on, if I let y'all go, who gonna run my enterprises? So I can't free y'all. If I free y'all, I've lost my skilled labor force. And mind you, Jefferson knows that Black people are every bit the equal or more, because Benjamin Banneker was writing him letters. He was so shook by Banneker. Banneker was writing from Massachusetts. Banneker, who built the first wooden clock in America that ran, and it ran up until the day it was destroyed, because the day of his funeral, a mysterious fire burnt down Banneker's house in Pennsylvania, in Maryland, all his stuff, the clock, everything. And Banneker's writing him saying, hey man, I read that declaration. It said all people are free. And I love how Banneker said it. He said, suffer me to your mind to recall when you said that about everybody. Well, I'm one of those people, and I should be free too. And by the way, I've enclosed several almanacs for you to check, since you're a scientist. Let's compare notes. Jefferson was so shook by Banneker that he took all those letters and gave them to a friend and said, you read them and see what you think. He couldn't even write Banneker back. He was so, because this idea of these Black intellectuals or Black people being equal or better than him, he couldn't take. So that's the first one. I'm not letting them go. They're my skilled labor force. The second reason is the one that recently wrote this book by. Jefferson's always in debt. He died broke. In fact, after he died, they sold off 140 Africans to pay his debt. These are the Africans he had enslaved, some of whom he had promised, oh, I'm gonna free you one day. And of course, Black people talk. George Washington wrote in his will, when I die, the Africans I have are free. So now they give him credit, but what people don't know is Martha Washington was the one with all the money. He married into money, and she still had enslaved Africans. And so it don't really mean much. So, well, of course, if you're a freed African, it does. But here's the numbers two, which is actually number one. Always in debt, Jefferson. Presented with opportunity to get out of debt. Why didn't he do it? It wasn't even the skilled labor. One day, and this is one of the documents we have, Jefferson is doing some back of the envelope math, and he realizes that on an annual basis, he makes a 4% profit because of on his enslaved Africans based on the babies that are born. Thomas Jefferson figured out that the most valuable thing about Black people were the wombs of the Black woman.